John just had a great story about Jay Haran's debut. Are you muted, John?
Oh, no, I'm not muted. Why? Did you want to rehash that story?
I didn't realize that was. I also did not realize that was an invitation to rehash the story.
Oh, I didn't want to rehash that story. That's why I told it off camera. Although I did record it, I am going to use that as a clip. It's almost like a secret audio.
Yeah, that could
The
be
hidden files.
Everybody does it now on podcasts. The patrons, the OnlyFans. I'm like,
we should do it too. If anyone actually cares, once we get like 10,000 subscribers.
If anyone gives a fuck, buy us a coffee.
Yeah.
If anyone gives a fuck, buy us a coffee.
Yeah,
please.
Thank you guys. Whoever,
hold on.
If it's just Gordo and my mom, shout out to everybody downloading, liking, clicking, everything. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's me. I'm in the corner, just like sitting there, like watching all our episodes.
Refresh. Yeah, I got 8 screens going.
No, because like
Harry Heiner, Asian kid.
I have
Outsource it.
Whole living room full.
Bangladesh call center.
I should do that for an unnamed website that I freelance for, where I get paid per click. I should just pay some click farm in fucking Bangladesh like $15 for like 50,000 clicks. And I'm pretty sure that math would work out to me making my money.
That's great.
Much to consider. Don't listen to this if you're considering hiring me for freelance work.
Yeah, you don't want to know about the click farm.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that Harry's gonna be banned, I may never get a UFC credential again after my.
What you do, you whore out your friends instead, and
yeah,
like,
there you go.
You're like, here,
yeah, I gave up on getting a UFC credential long ago. I've said far too many mean things about that like bald red idiot who's in charge.
Wait,
so
I thought I was the only one. I literally like stopped even bothering. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like,
I also stopped applying a while ago.
UFC don't give credentials, and first of all, I think we're all on the same page. Fuck the UFC and fuck Dana White.
Yeah.
I said he was an asshole from day one, and now everyone sees what I was saying.
Right. I don't get why people act like he's some sort of visionary, irreplaceable businessman when like he got the job because his billionaire friends bought the UFC. He got the job because the Fertittas bought the UFC. He wasn't qualified in any way.
Do you have any friends that would lose $50 million with you? Because he essentially had lost $50 million until the Ultimate Fighter hit.
So no, I don't have any billionaire friends. That's my whole point. It's a little easier to get ahead when we have somebody willing to bankroll your bullshit.
Listen, I tell everyone, don't talk to me unless you lost $1 million about business. So I lost close to that in the business. And let me tell you, I had no one to bail me out and throw more money in. That was it. That was the end of my resources. That's a fail. Let's say Dana White had 10 mil. He would have failed. Do you remember IFL?
Yes.
IFL lost 28 mil. That was it. That was their budget. They folded. UFC was able to go 50 mil. Now, what if that 50 mil, what if they had to put another 10? Would they have folded? Right. So Dana White just happens to have, first of all, the best product on the planet to me.
I second.
I agree with that. I mean, MA-wise, absolutely. I don't think anyone debates that.
I think it's the best sport, period, the most exciting thing to watch. You get handed that. Don't get me wrong, with a lot to accomplish in like legislation and legalization. However, the sport essentially sells itself, and you have an endless bankroll.
And the other thing is, do you really think? I'm sure Dana got on some calls, shook some hands, and kissed some babies and whatever. But like, it's a $1 billion corporation. You don't think they're hiring lobbyists and lawyers and like actual experts to do all of this shit? Like, people act like Dana did this all single-handedly, which is just so strange to me.
He definitely didn't.
No, there's a big company behind him.
Right, 100%.
Well, so like if you just read into anybody, his the deals he made with Trump in the beginning of when the Fertitta brothers bought it, when they had the deals that were made, they were very, very interesting, right? You look at it and it was based on who he's around, based on them applying a rule set, which was the ABC rules, the boxing rules, and regulation. It was pretty much the reason. It wasn't because it was Dana White.
No, listen, Dan. The credentials, like the qualifications to do Dana White's job, are to be a good public speaker, to be persuasive, and to have absolutely no morals at all. To not have a soul or conscience. Those are the
Which
three
is why
requirements.
Bellator is not as popular as not as big as UFC. Scott Coker is like a humble dude.
Yeah.
Listen, Coker, people can give Coker all the shit they want. I give him plenty of shit for how they match make and how they decide to build talent and book talent and all that. But the one thing I will always respect Scott Coker for is that he actually competed in combat sports. Dana White did cardio kickboxing. Scott Coker was an actual martial artist.
I'm going to tell you what. Bellator does set you up to lose to their farm guys. However, they give you a decent pay, a decent show, and those guys that they're setting you up to lose against, honestly, those guys are all beatable.
Look at, they tried to do it with James Gonzalez a couple months ago. James was
I told you what happened with Cody Law, right? Did I tell you that?
James was 6-1 underdog in that fight, and I
Look,
mean, not dominated. It was a competitive fight, but won pretty clearly.
But he kicked his ass the last round and won.
Yeah, that third round was dominant.
Cody Law, can I hash this story? I don't think I told this one on the air. So maybe a year ago, Bellator calls and they're like, could I fight Cody Law, right, at 145? And you know that guy's a stud. He's a D1 wrestler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. The guy's a stud. 5-0 at the time.
Penn State, too. Not just any.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I was like, you know, when? And they're like 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 42. Stop it. Give me at least 8 weeks. How many advantages can you give this kid? He's young. He's athletic.
What are you doing tomorrow?
And I still would fight him. Just give me a fucking full camp. And they didn't like that. I was like, yo, give me a fucking full camp. Or give me a bag. And they're not into giving you a bag. And a guy like James Gonzalez, he's always in shape, you know, to his credit. And he came in competitive 2 rounds, but came through the 3rd round and whipped Cody Law's ass. And let me tell you what I don't like about Bellator on that one. Cody Law, they had ranked at number 9.
Yep.
James Gonzalez comes in and whoops his ass, right? He wins. He beats him, right? Gets unanimous decision. No disputing that. And he doesn't take the number 9 spot. How?
Dude, they do that all the time. Their rankings are...
They don't make sense.
Their rankings are abysmal, dude. They're all... You can go through their rankings and find, like... I mean, look at their lightweight rankings. You have Mamedov ranked below Primus, who he beat pretty concisely. Like, there's shit like that just all over their rankings that drive. I mean, they had... After the Sergio Pettis loss, they had Kyoji Horiguchi ranked at like 7 in their bantamweight division, which is obscene. That's insulting. I remember Valerie Loretta. Yeah, the Rising co-promotion. That's dope. We love co-promotion.
I do like that. I like Bellator does the $1 Million Tournament. Bellator does a lot of things good.
Yeah.
They're missing a little something there. And UFC, what's crazy is they do a lot of things wrong and power through.
Right. Well, at this point, the UFC is just kind of like too big to fail. You know, I mean, like they have that ESPN deal. It's $400 million a year. All they have to do is put on $750.
Yeah,
I thought it was 4, but yeah, I mean,
everything.
My understanding was as long as they put on 40 shows, regardless of anything else, $400 million in the bank. And that's why we've seen this pivot to like contender series guys and just kind of low level talent to fill out cards, and a lot of cards that just aren't great. Like the product has suffered in the last few years. It's not what it was.
No,
I agree with that.
Except a few cards will shine out. What
Absolutely.
Speaking of cards doing a Smokers Club, we got this Sunday, right? This Sunday. Fucking, I'm so high. This Saturday. This Saturday, we got Fight Night UFC pay-per-view coming back with Glover fighting against Jamala Hill.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for that. We're going to be at the Smokers Club, the MMAvengers, live in full effect. We'll show some football too. I know, I heard there's games. But I'm excited to smoke and chill. It's such a good time at the Smokers Club. You know, especially the guy that runs it. Good, solid. The bud tenders will be there. So I'm excited. So anyone that wants to come, you know, make sure you come through to the Smokers Club.
That's right.
It's a good ass
the K-Dog.
This time we're gonna make a graphic with the right address on the poster.
I
different address.
my graphic, and this one I did.
Hell yeah.
And it was
Last
so
time
funny,
Manimal
like,
and I both showed up to the wrong dress.
I had everything correct the first time except for January, and that was because it doesn't have autocorrect on the thing I was using. At least it doesn't correct. It's not like a text message. It's very funny. So I'm like, motherfucker. And then when I went to go redo it, it took the 2 out. So it said January 1st. I'm like, motherfucker. I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed. But I thought it came out for my first flyer that I ever did.
Well done. Well done.
I was like, fuck it, let me try it. Let me see how it comes out instead of fucking using whatever it was, where you still see the names in the background of some of the programs.
Right.
I'm like, no.
Coach Liz. I think she coaches
So what's it called? So yeah, Smokers Club, that should be fun.
Well, it's been a
that's
big
a good
week in
card.
MMA news. Big week for news.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
week for news.
Dana White is still not suspended.
Nope. Dana White will face no repercussions, as predicted on our last
Under the
podcast.
Disney banner is the craziest thing. If you told me this, I would have been like,
Dude,
maybe under Fox.
Did you see the picture of him today that came out, like holding the slap fighting league belt?
Mm-hmm.
He's holding the fucking slap fighting belt with this big dumb grin on his face, just a big belt that says slap, and it's just like, do we like really not? Do we have no self awareness, or do we not give a fuck? And of those two, I really know which is worse.
I lost a lot of respect for Stephen A. Smith. He could have buried him. He was like, Dana's like a brother to me, but
yeah, it's some hack shit. I told you, ESPN had a mandate from the top down, like not to negatively cover the story.
Wow. And you know what they say happens? They actually say that they'll tell you, you know, what if you can't say something or you can't bring something up or, you know, whatever, which is why I never wanted to write for or work for any kind of a publication. I'm like, you're not going to fucking tell me what to say. That's for fuck's sake. Nobody's going to tell me. And I can't say. I curse far too much to be on any kind of, you know, network, which I don't care.
Same, yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I can't smoke weed on a fucking, you know, Vice should pay me at this point. So we're just going to stop there. Vice for all the fucking times they've shared my picture and called me some fucked up shit, by the way, to which I was right about everything. How's that working out for everyone? I want to talk to Samantha B. Where's that? Nobody has been. Isn't that funny? She said some shit about me. She shared some shit about me. She's nowhere to be seen. And she wouldn't even have to
fight her.
Huh?
Kerry, you should fight her.
I should.
Could you MMA?
I asked her to interview. I'm like, listen, you said you put my video out there, made me look like a crazy person. Let me at least have the opportunity to, you know, allow you to dispute it when I show you all my facts. They didn't even write. Do you know how many people I wrote? And they're like, you know, PR department, not one person got back to me. Like, that's how I know this shit is all like.
What Kerry's not telling you is what she said is, I'll show you how fucking crazy I
am. You want to see fucking
you
crazy?
Say I'm crazy? I'll show you how fucking crazy.
All right, though. All right. I want a prediction from everybody.
Yeah,
where do we think Francis is landing? Possibly the biggest free agent in the history of MMA.
Oh, man. Okay, prediction time. Let's all make a prediction.
What do you got, Manimal?
You want to start?
I asked a question. I go last. Those are the rules.
Oh, is it?
I like that. Okay.
I thought the guy that asked goes first.
No, the guy that asks gets the choice, and I'm choosing to go last.
Okay, fine. Who do you want to go first then?
You have the floor, sir.
BKFC.
Oh, so you want to see somebody die? You want to see somebody die in a ring?
What am I? I'm pulling the BKFC.
Manimal wants
who would
blood.
they even match him up with? I want to see. You know what I want to see? I'm putting this out there to the gods of war, the gods of battle. I want to see Francis Ngannou versus either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder in BKFC.
Jesus Christ! You literally want to see somebody die?
Yes, he does.
I lust for combat. I love violence. What can I say?
Kerry, what do you got?
So like my first, as soon as you said free agent, that like was bringing some spidey senses in me, but then something went PFL.
I get that. I think PFL is a logical fit. They just signed Jake Paul. You know that they would be willing to let him box and co-promote that if they're really doing this 50% pay-per-view rev share.
Yo, that would be funny.
It makes a lot of sense. I can see that. What do you think?
That's what my spidey senses say.
Ignore that I'm
better
wearing a
way-
PFL Challenger Series shirt right now.
I didn't even see that.
And just signed my
But,
contract with them for a year.
What better way to welcome Francis Ngannou back, or starting with Bellator, than to have him rematch Alistair Overeem?
Mm,
I like that. I haven't heard that yet.
Get that
Cool.
highlight reel.
I thought that you were gonna say Fedor, and I was gonna be very angry. Because I've seen a lot of people,
God rest his soul.
people saying that they want to see Francis Fedor, and I have less than no desire. Fedor is one
leave
of my
Fedor alone.
childhood heroes. I don't need to see a 50-year-old man take a Francis Ngannou uppercut and get
You know what?
decapitated.
there is something to be said for that.
I have
I
no
don't like
interest.
that shit.
Like, I don't, yeah, I agree.
Legends should fight legends.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I-
I think Fedor Bader is a shit fight for Fedor's last fight.
Bader,
You had-
Hader.
You had
Yeah.
JDS out there. You had all these legends that you could have
Yeah.
done something fun. Somebody maybe a little bit
I like legend fights.
closer to the end of their career. Like, I don't like
Me-
that. But I hate that for Fedor. I keep seeing people like oh let's see Francis Fedor, and I like there's not a single fight for him that I would want to see less.
No, I
No.
agree. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I like John's idea. You know, throw the legends fight. Two older guys, guys that are on their way out, whatever you want to call it.
Right. I mean, like Josh Barnett offered to fight Fedor for his retirement fight. Like that would have been fucking
Oh,
awesome. Like Fedor and the
I
War
like that.
Master in Japan or in Russia, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
But no,
And
no,
old
we
meat
can't have
Kirk
that.
up.
Right. Fuck yeah. But so what I have decided would be funniest, and hence what I am rooting for, is for Francis to sign nothing but one-offs, no long-term deals, no exclusivity, and I want him to unify every major MMA heavyweight belt. I want him to go to fucking Bellator, take that belt off Bader. I want him to go to ONE, take that belt off Malkin or Bular, whoever the fuck it has it at that point. I want him to go to PFL, take that belt off D'Elia. I want a true unified MMA championship for the first time in, I mean, I don't know, since the UFC or WEC. When was the last time that like you could really
Then
consider an
come
MMA
back.
championship unified?
Harry, then
Then come back and take out whoever the UFC champ is.
and take out John Jones, hopefully.
You hope that
Yes, sir.
Francis has enough
And be the-
goodwill for this to happen. I hope it doesn't slip, and then UFC are like, like.
Right.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I think they're gonna fuck him no matter what. If he tries to come back to them down the road, they are going to fuck him. Dana doesn't take kindly to shit like that. He doesn't like to be made like. I mean, the whole way that Dana framed it of, well, Francis just doesn't want to fight this level of competition anymore. Shut the fuck up, man. We've heard X fighter doesn't want to fight for 20 years now. Like, get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Doesn't
That's the
wanna
oldest
fight.
trick in the fucking book. The guy wants to fight. He just wants to be paid his worth to fight.
And which he should.
Absolutely. And
You
you know
know?
what? Yeah, if he's an independent contractor, he should have the right to go fucking box if he wants to go box.
Be able to do
Yeah,
whatever.
Dana White doesn't like anyone to limit his capitalist ambitions. So why would you want to limit someone else's?
Right.
The fucking guy wants to make money, right? He feels he's worth it. He's the heavyweight champ. He cleared out the division. Fucking more do you want from the guy?
100%. He's the baddest man on the planet. No question. And like their
Looks
whole
like a
argument that
savage.
he's right, their whole argument of it's not a draw and this and that, like they
What's
put
not a draw?
They also
I've
put his
never
last
missed it.
pay-per-view up against they put his last fucking pay-per-view up against NFL playoff games on a Saturday night. Like that's by design. There's a reason for that. So that
Yeah.
then they can come back in contract negotiations and point to it and say, "You're not a draw. We're not going to pay you."
Yeah, I get that.
They're playing the game.
Yep, I get that.
They know how to
Talk
play.
about the timing.
I
of
don't
all this.
understand it, but they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Talk about
And
the
remember,
timing
the
of all this
fighters,
news.
I take this back always to ancient Rome. You know what a gladiator was in ancient Rome?
Yeah,
He
they
was
were
a
pretty
slave.
cool.
He was a slave. He might have got popular, but he was a slave. And that's essentially the UFC fight model. Is like, fight for us because we fucking take you to the Coliseum. We promote the big show. And
Right.
whatever we want to give you, you should be happy. And that's why they don't like anyone who's vocal about doing well. Going all the way back to Tito Ortiz. Oh, you know where I could see Francis Ngannou winding up also?
Starting
Absolutely.
point.
One championships.
I could see it. I mean, they might be best positioned to do an event in Africa right now out of all of the major promotions.
Yes. And he also could wind up with a one-off fight for like $5 million in Risen.
I would love to see Francis on a New Year's
Mm.
Eve Ryan card. OG, like Bob Sapp style. Fuck it. Let's see. I want a kumite of Francis and like 1,500-pound Japanese guys.
Who's that huge Japanese dude who sucks? Yakamoto.
Not Human Choi. He hasn't been around for a minute. Big Japanese dude who sucks.
Whatever. But yeah, I'd love to see him on a one-off Risen card. That would be great.
That would be
Oh,
sick.
God.
Pride rules in
Is it the
Ghana.
lighting that's making me look so jacked? Because even my left arm, and I have the bicep thing on the right arm. Damn.
Might be the oil.
No oil. I did train hard today, though. I was
There
gonna
you
head to Brooklyn today.
You got a good pump in.
So I got to go pumping. I actually did one more round than I was gonna because, dude, so I do a match with a guy. So one of my friends rolls with this guy, and he has a good match with him, but he made a few mistakes. So then the guy asked me to roll, and I was like, all right, fine. So I just like showed my friend's like watching us roll, and I'm just showing how to correct all the mistakes. Like while I'm rolling, I like put the leg back. I do everything. I go in the positions he was in, so I like show him what he should have did without telling him. I'm just showing him. I roll with the guy and show him. Afterwards, I was like, you see what I was doing there? He was like, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I was like, dude, you were watching me. I did that for you. I would have did a whole different thing if I would have known that. I was like, shit, I can't even help out here. So yeah, Francis Ngannou, that's interesting. There was other MMA news. So we got John Jones back, heavyweight. I like it.
Mm.
You think Harry thinks that John Jones is never gonna show up again?
I mean, listen, this fight looks fucked now, but again, I will believe it when when fucking Tate is leaning up his face and they are locking the cage behind him.
Mm.
I've been hearing about John Jones going up to heavyweight for 10 fucking years. 10 years, literally. 2013 is the first time he played with the idea. So I will believe it when I see it. He signs this new 8-fight deal. I don't think there's a fucking chance in hell he fights 8 more times.
No
fucking shot.
No.
That feels like we want to just have control over you for the next few years and after you retire, so you can't go do boxing, exhibition, like the same, what GSP is locked into right now, basically.
That's why GSP cares. Well, I don't think GSP cares though.
Probably not, but no, because GSP got offered, I think it was just over $1 million for a boxing fight with, it was either Malinagi or De La Hoya, and the UFC and Dana said, no, we're not going to give you permission in your contract to do that.
I remember that.
Was that, Kerry?
I remember that. I just can't remember who they were offering.
Right, yeah, it was Malinagi or De La Hoya. I don't remember which one, but yeah, it would have been $1 million payday that the UFC fucked him out of. So, and interestingly enough, GSP's contract sunsets this year. So he's also, I know he's older, he's retired. He's got that Disney bag now. He's acting, whatever. He has no need to fight, but
he looks great.
Technically a free agent this year. If he wanted to, he could fight.
That guy
like Karate Combat or someone like that, bringing him in for like a fun, like
him versus
weird
Silva
one-off
in boxing.
Yeah,
fuck it, dude. Fuck, give me like him and Raymond Daniels in Karate Combat. That would be sick. I would have a blast with that.
Raymond Daniels does shit. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing.
I'm not sure he knows what he's doing, but it works.
I think you're right. I don't know what.
That's 720
kick to the
720 like hook knockout. That was like a tornado kick into another spin into a hook. Like, I don't think that's something that you can like prepare. I think that's just something you're like, I see an opening for this. Let's give it a shot.
Well, that's because if you watch that fight, he hit him with just a regular 360 kick before. So he hit him with the 360 once, and he's like, all right, the guy moves away from the 360. He spins around again. The guy looks like he's going to block the kick, so he just hits it with the hook. Yeah, I guess you don't know if he's going to throw that. He thought he was probably going to throw the kick again.
Right.
But then the guy's looking to block the kick, so throw the hook. But yeah, that guy is phenomenal on the feet.
Yeah,
He's a
I'm
little
all for
superior.
fun shit. I mean, even shit like that when we talk about UFC exclusivity deals, like I would love to see Wonder Boy like go to Karate Combat and do a one-off against like Artem Levin or something. That would be so much fun.
Wonder Boy looked great his last fight too.
He did.
He's
He
a
did.
very good
So you know
striker.
what I mean? Like, right. I would love to see Wonder Boy in a format that is obviously catered to him. You know what I mean? Like we've seen Wonder Boy's ceiling in the UFC at this point. He's not going to be a champion at his age. He's going to stick around. He can gatekeep the top 10, whatever the fuck it may be.
He
But
just
like,
doesn't have the grappling to.
or
Mhm.
right, his cardio looked good in the last fight. I'll give him that. But in fights that have been
No,
very
he just doesn't have
grappling
the
heavy,
grappling to be top to
right,
be the champ.
right, he's not going to
Champ has
beat
to
those
have
top
great grappling.
guys. Right, 100%.
Even
Especially
Izzy,
when
is a champ.
Mhm.
Incredible takedown defense.
right. Right. But then even you look like he didn't take it super seriously when he went up 205 to fight Jan and didn't put on the weight like he was supposed to and he got wrestle fucked.
Yeah, and then you get out wrestled. That's it.
Yeah.
It shows that if you have a weakness there.
I mean, shit, Pereira took Izzy down in that fight.
Mhm.
Pereira's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, isn't he?
True. This is true. Although I don't know, we've I think we've talked about this before, but like Islam Makhachev made the comment a few weeks ago that like some belts in BJJ are definitely more legitimate than others.
Mhm.
No, I
You know what
bet
I mean? Like
Pereira submits guys on the mat.
I would imagine. I mean, he's a fucking monster, just athletically, and he's so much bigger and stronger than
You
everyone.
got to
he's
give
rolling
that
with.
guy a brown belt almost, because that guy
Right.
probably is. No, think about it. Think about Alex Pereira coming into law, and he's in my Tuesday night class, and you're in my Tuesday night class.
I don't want to think about that at all.
And
That
Alex
sounds
Pereira
terrible.
that's rolling
Yeah.
with you.
Fuck the king of the hill with Alex Pereira. I'll fucking kill myself.
Even just chilling with you, even just playing light with you, he's gonna beat the shit out of you. Like even just letting
Dude.
you work.
He could pick me up and throw me clean across that gym if he wanted to.
So you almost gotta give that guy like a brown belt at some point because he's kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
That's fair.
he shows up to the gym. He probably does jujitsu. I bet you twice a week, 3 times a week, right?
Right. And it's also not like I'm sure he still fucking trains it a ton, obviously, but it's not like he's got to work on the kickboxing all that much. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
like that. I feel like that's more maintenance at this point. He's not really adding to that arsenal at this point.
I would disagree.
Really?
I think that's
How
probably
so?
what he does the most is kickboxing.
I'm sure that's probably what he does the most because it's what he's the most comfortable with and what he enjoys the most. But as far as what he needs to work on the most, maybe not.
Mhm.
Never dull your best weapon.
Fair.
That's where you see guys run into problems. They dull their best weapon. You get a wrestler who falls in love with his striking. Fucking guy dulls his best weapon out there.
Kamaru Usman disease.
Yeah.
No, it's everything. You don't dull your best weapon. You always want to keep your best weapon sharp. You got to know where you're going to live and die. Like for me, it's jujitsu. If I'm going to die somewhere, that's where I want to die. Right? I want to kill there. I want to die there. That's where I'm going to put my most effort because that's where I know I'm looking to get it. Win or lose, that's where I'm going to have my best chances.
Right. And if somebody beats you what you're best at, you know, fair play, hand up.
Same to Alex Pereira. He almost got beat where he's best at, but he knows that's where my bread's butted. That's what I'm best at. I'm gonna put the most energy here. I have to, of course, make sure I have good jujitsu. Right? You can't have a glaring weakness. You have to be at least secure certain places, but you never want your tool. And what's his tool? Left hook. Boom. Never got dull. That fucking thing, he took that left hook from when he was a 5-year-old kid in the playground. Bang! He fucking was like, oh, you know what? I think I can hurt a guy with my left hook. And he did that shit for 20 years. Bang! Bang! And when he hits you with that left hook, you're like, ow. I fucking rock. You know, Sean Strickland, he was like, I'm a box with this guy. He was like, back, no, wrong. Adesanya's like, I'm fucking this dude.
Bank, yep.
He's like, shit. He's like, I throw it so much.
So, Manimal, I have a question for you. Right now, do you think Bo Nicol beats Alex Pereira right now?
That's an old school MMA fight.
It is. That's like, you want to talk like UFC 1 stylistic clash. Two pure specialists.
That's a tough one.
It's a very tough one.
Do you think that photo is real with Pereira, where he went back to like an indigenous tribe? He's got like the neck
Bro,
paint.
that's where he's from. He's
He's
actually
from a
that.
freaking clay
Yes,
tribe.
he is from an indigenous tribe in Brazil. Like, that is where he grew up. None of that shit is
Look
like
at
fake.
him.
None of that shit is for show. He's about that fucking shit.
Look at him. Look at his face.
There was
His
no
demeanor.
Jewish guy with the Mets hat saying "and cut." That's a wrap, folks.
No, dude, he's fucking about that life. Like, yo, that necklace that he wears to like weigh-ins and face-offs and shit, that shit is made of jaguar teeth. Like, that shit's fucking real.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's what fighting's
Hardcore
about.
shit.
That Khabib shit, wrestling bears and
Yeah.
Pereira in the
That's the thing.
tribe,
It's
that's
like, you know
it's
what?
about.
You could drop any fighter into a cage with him and they can do whatever, but you drop a regular UFC fighter into Alex Pereira's like day-to-day life back home in Brazil, I don't think they make it 2 weeks.
No.
They were like, "Excuse me, can I get a Starbucks?
Yeah.
Can I get a C4?"
Where's the ice bath? They have that at the PI.
Yeah, where's?
I feel that way about my neighborhood.
Yeah, you drop Alex Pereira in John's neighborhood. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I think Poetom would do all right in Canarsie.
Yeah, no, Alex Ferrer.
No way, a cab's gonna hit him the minute. he-
Right.
He's so big.
Listen, if you're walking up to that guy starting shit in the street, brother, whatever happens from that point is on you.
There would be a
He's gonna be
140
hitting his
pound
head on
untrained
everything.
guy say, "Yo, man, get the fuck out of my way."
Yeah.
He's gonna be trying to take the bus. He can't fit anywhere.
Oh god, yeah.
That's a
I,
great.
He's in
I
the
have no
train
fucking idea how
station
that dude makes
back in
185, man. He is
How's he make 185?
massive. Cause like, dude, I mean, you guys have too. I've stood next to Weidman and looked at him and been like, how the fuck does this guy
He's-
make 185?
he's
And Pereira's like 2-3 inches taller.
And
And
Jack.
like, yeah, and fucking yoked. It makes no sense. He
makes no
literally
sense.
must get down to like 1.5% body fat on his cut. Like, I don't understand it.
I can't see how he makes it.
But he does it. But he does it.
Even when he's like 220, he's still jacked.
Right.
It's not like
Yeah.
he's 220 and like fat.
He's not walking around at a puffy 220. He's walking around at an I'll beat the shit out of most 205ers right now, 220.
Right now. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting too.
I
Now
think we
with
see him
John
go up
Jones
to
moving up-
205 at some point.
Now
Dude,
with John
Alex
Jones
versus
moving up-
Yuri would be fucking awesome.
Fire.
That would be an incredible fight. This
Yeah,
like,
because Yuri's not a huge light heavyweight.
no, he's not massive by any means. Like, he's bigger, like wider, probably a little more filled out than Poetan is, but they probably walk around close to the same weight, if I had to guess.
I'd
Because
say so.
Pereira walks around like 230. I would imagine Yuri's probably walking around 240, maybe.
Hmm.
If that,
5.
45.
No, 225. I think Yuri walks around not that heavy.
That's true. He is another guy who looks like he is pretty much consistently in phenomenal shape.
He just stays in shape. There's some
Right.
guys that operate that way. Marab.
Yeah,
Some guys just operate always top.
I know. Frivola said this year he's trying to no more cream roller. He's staying the lean roller all year between fights.
Let's see. Maybe it's, I don't know. I have a theory personally that depends. Some guys might need a little bit. I'd
Right.
say that's
Everyone's
probably
body is different.
Yep.
And
I see
then
the
you have
per-
the Patty Pimblets of the world who fight at 155 and balloon up to 200 fucking pounds whenever they're not fighting or not.
probably a little too high on that percentage range. I've been guilty of that before myself. That's what happened with me, I think, with that combat jiu-jitsu. Too much of a percentage. Probably should keep it within 10% overall in a camp,
Right.
including the weight cut. So, like, let's say you want to fight at 155, you probably should go into that camp
Around 170.
170-ish. Yeah.
That makes
Right.
sense. But then, yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean,
And then
back
some
to
guys can
Frivola,
go
they
in way
released.
higher.
Right, they released that shit from the California State Athletic Commission. They released the pre-weigh-in, like the fight night weigh-ins and the pre-fight weigh-ins. And dude, Matt cuts like 16% of his fucking body weight on fight day. It's fucking insane.
What did
Mm.
he do?
He weighed in at 55. I think he came back in at like 83 on fight
Wow.
night the next day. Or like
Bro, that's
79 or something like that. It was like 17% of his body weight.
That's crazy.
That's what happened my first fight back at Bellator. I used to fight at 55 because in 2007 that was the lightest weight class there
Right.
was.
It was
Right?
Matt Serra fighting at 170. Yeah.
Yeah. So when they're like, I want to fight, when I was like, I want to fight again, they're like, what do you want to fight? I was like, I don't know, I guess 55. And I remember making the weight pretty easy, especially it was day before weigh-in. And the dude came in the next day at 82. And the next day I was 62.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a difference because every time I took that dude down, bro, it was more work. And he to reverse me, he could take 20 pounds more impact. That's when weight class becomes a thing.
Right.
Right. So when you can find that sweet spot, that's part of the sport.
Right.
I would
sure.
read through all the weight classes and then do the hydration testing personally.
It's like yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to agree with
boys.
you, but then you look at one, and it's not like that's just working over there. Every fight card they put on, you got multiple fighters missing hydration, missing weight. Like it's a fucking mess. Like it was much better when it was just behind closed doors, and we were all like, okay, we know that this is fake, but just like we can all pretend that it's not.
I know they got their cell phones on them. They're like backpacks when they're weighing in.
Right. Dude, it was a joke. It was all behind closed doors. It was all, this John Lineker makes weight for 4 consecutive fights. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. All right. And then you see guys who somehow like they make weight or miss hydration, and then they come back and they're somehow the weight is lower, but the hydration is higher. It makes no sense. None of it makes any fucking sense. I think it's all fucking nonsense.
Weigh them 2 hours before competition or 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, look, ideally, I think it was John Kavanaugh said it, and I don't think Kavanaugh's a very great coach personally, but I thought this was a salient point. Like, the way it should be is 2 guys who walk around at about the same weight, look at each other and say, hey, you want to fight? Let's fight. And we make that fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, and people talk about weight bullying and shit like that. I think that's all nonsense too. If you make the weight, you make the weight. That's whatever. That's part of the game. But yes, ideally, you wouldn't have guys fucking like killing themselves and dehydrating their internal organs to like make weight and step in the fucking cage. Like, I would imagine that the long-term effects of cutting weight 30 times for 30 pro fights might be worse than the long-term effects of having 30 pro fights.
Agreed.
We don't know. The sport is too young. You know what I mean? We don't have 80-year-old MMA fighters really like, we don't really know what that
I don't even have
guy looks like.
I feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like cutting weight. Like, dude, I've cut so much weight for so many like jiu-jitsu competitions and all the amateur stuff.
Right.
That
But it's
gets-
like we've seen people fucking faint on the scales, like
pro
guys who can
fights,
barely
45
keep
was
themselves
tough to make.
standing.
45 was tough to make. Even making 55 on the day was tough.
Right.
You know,
It's
that's
I
why
just
for
find it
girls-
hard to believe that like
It's
I find
healthy.
it hard to believe that it's healthy, that it's that it can possibly be
healthy.
good for you. Like
Agreed.
to get your body to a point where you're like basically inches away from like your organs just shutting down.
Yeah.
I can't imagine many doctors would recommend that. Can't imagine that's a healthy thing to do to your body long term.
Yeah. I agree.
See Doc Sherry. Rest in peace. Doc Sherry had a really good system for this that she wanted to do all kind. You know how the doctor wants to do it. She would test you the whole way and then have a ratio of like muscle to bone density and have a whole stratification of how you rank people against each other. Like there would be more than just a weight class.
And everyone's body is also just different.
Which
you know,
would
like,
be interesting, right? But it would be like a height weight purport. It would almost be like a ratio class.
yeah. But
Like
I'm walking around like 160 right now, which is like a good weight for me to be at. I'm 5'10. That's a very normal average weight. When I was walking around like 140, like just a little, like just slim, didn't really like, I was just fucking skinny. Fucking Charlie kept trying to tell me, dude, cut down to 25, take a kickboxing fight, cut down to 25. And I'm just telling him like, bro, like I am skin and bones. Like I don't have 15 pounds to cut. I am 5'10". My body is not supposed
know
to
what
weigh
the problem
125
is?
pounds.
You know what the problem is, Harry?
What?
When you're a psychopath like us, when he said that, I'm like, what's the first thing I thought when you were like, Charlie said cut to 25?
Yeah, you
You
were
said you
probably
were
like, yeah, I'm sure
140.
you could do that. At the
I'm
time,
like,
I
oh,
was
15
140. Now I'm
pounds?
160, so that's definitely not
Oh,
happening.
yeah. I'm just thinking to myself, I was like, 140? I'm like, you could have made 25. I was like, why not just do 35 though? You know what the problem is too? Guys don't know how to lift. If you know how to lift, you could kind of go up the right way a little bit. The problem is guys go up and they don't have they don't bring no strength with them up.
Right. I could have made 35, no problem. And like, bro, I'd still be a big fucking
Oh, yeah.
bantamweight. Like I'm 5'10" with a 6'2" wingspan. Like I'd still be bigger than most guys I would be fighting at 35. Like that I easily could have done.
Kerry,
Right now
could you
I could
make
easily make
105?
45.
What?
Did you make 105?
Oh, actually, yeah, without a question. When I was sick back in November, I had literally like I remember saying I felt like I was sweating it out for 2 days, and in those 2 days I lost easily 7 pounds, and I
Well,
was and that's
don't-
just
You don't want to be sick though.
no, but I'm saying,
Yeah, we just have to infect you with some sort of parasite first.
no,
No,
but
she's just saying, like,
the tapeworm weight cut.
no, but I know myself. Like I would, in my personal opinion, if I wanted to, I feel like I would look so skinny at 105. I remember that, but I would just like diet down, to 110 and then shed like 5 pounds. But that would
there's
just be
no weight class there in jiu-jitsu though. Why
No.
bother?
Right at
115 is
I'm
the weight
thinking-
class.
Listen, I'm honestly I'm the weirdo that like I walk around 118 now. I'd fight at 115 and wouldn't even care.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm 5'5" and I have a huge wingspan. I have a wingspan like Harry.
Yeah. We got that similar, like just skinny, lanky build.
My legs are 40 inches long. Like before, like I have very long reach.
Keep kick a bitch.
My
Well,
my legs are so
Kerry had some good moves on Sunday. She
I-
did. She
Good.
went from the guillotine to the inside leg one that I like.
Okay.
Kicked over, got mount, went for a triangle, got an omoplata. She did good moves.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right.
Okay.
So back on track here for a moment so I can eat dinner shortly.
Yeah, fuck your
What do-
moves, Kerry.
That's
Let's
right.
do it.
What do we like in the title fights this week?
Weed. Oh, what were we talking about?
weird.
That's right.
I'm gonna take home the title on that one.
Jamal and Glover. What do we think?
I'm pulling for Glover.
Glover.
agree.
Yeah. Yep.
I like
Wow,
Jamal.
consensus.
I was at his contender series fight. His contender series fight was the same one that Billy Q
Right.
got his contract on. So I've been watching him fight since his first fight on contender series.
Mm.
He's good, but of course, Glover's an old guy. I want to see him win. Old dogs, new tricks. I'm pulling for him. It'd be great for him to be a 2-time champ. Late in
Yeah.
the game. Gives me
Wow.
hope.
Glover is the underdog right now. That's insane to me. Plus
I mean-
105? How do you watch Jamal Hill go life and death with the ghost of Thiago Santos and make him the favorite against Glover? I don't understand that at
Life
all.
and death with the ghost of Thiago Santos.
If you have a different take on that fight, I'd love to hear it. But seriously,
Hey, I mean, fair point.
That's the way you
I would call that a big step up in competition at this point. And I also think Glover has a style that's very well suited to Jamal.
Yeah.
Great grappling, great top control,
Mhm.
heavy on top pressure. Like I think Glover should be able to get him to the mat. Probably lock up like a head and arm or an arm triangle or something.
Mhm.
That's how I think the fight ends.
Maybe even
But
a
at
corner.
plus 105,
action would be great for
at plus 105, I am going to be all over Glover. All over that. I just don't understand it. I think Yuri is a much better fighter at this point in their careers than Jamal Hill is, and Glover was
Yeah.
winning that fight up until the last 30 seconds. That's a crazy price to me.
Oh my God. I wish, what happens? Sometimes the universe has to fulfill two things. One guy has to win, and one guy has to kind of I guess, not get his ass kicked.
like
I
not
guess Glover was like, I want to fucking kick this young kid's ass. And and Yuri's like, I want to be the champ. Right. So he kind of got his ass kicked, but he did pull it out. So the universe satisfied two things. Like with Jared Gordon and Patty Pimblett, the universe had to satisfy Patty Pimblett, had to win, but Jared Gordon kind of didn't lose.
Bingo.
Right.
Yeah.
So the universe has to fulfill certain things, like even like Khabib swerving Tony Ferguson. At that point,
Right.
would that have been Tony's peak where he could have beat Khabib? We never know. But is it
What
that
if?
Khabib has to be undefeated, but Tony Ferguson has the style to beat Khabib? I don't know. Probably not because of the way he lost to other guys, but
Right. But listen, 2015, when that fight was originally supposed to happen, 7-8 years ago, that's a long time. That's a lot of
that's
fight miles.
a lot of miles on that clock at that point.
Because I do think that would have been, if it happened when it was supposed to happen, 2015, that's prime for prime.
Yes.
Like,
Which is great.
Clearly, Tony is not in his prime anymore. I don't think anybody is going to
And was it
try and say
after,
that.
like, he had a lot of wear.
Right. It was bound to happen anyway, and unfortunately, he just fell off a cliff, basically, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. And then second title fight, we got the what would you call it? The quadrilogy?
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy.
The quadrilogy, Brandon Moreno, Jason Figueiredo 4. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think of this fight. I have a very, very clear take, but I want to open up the floor.
I don't know. I'm pulling for Figueiredo on that one personally.
I like both of those guys so much.
Yeah.
I just hope both guys have fun.
I hope it's a really good fight. Like
No.
Yeah.
No. I hope Figueiredo fucking just kicks him in the nuts, eye gouges, the ref don't see it, and chokes him in the first round. That's what I want to see.
The violence goblin. The way that I see this one, I
Hairstyle.
understand.
By nature, like wasn't he a hairstylist growing up or a barber or some shit?
Figgy is a barber.
Figueiredo,
Yes.
yeah.
I love that.
Figgy is a barber and also a rancher. He has a pet bull named
I think
Fernando, I think.
he was a sous chef as well. He did a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah,
That guy
he's been a
fucks.
sushi chef. He's an interesting cat. Figgy's an interesting dude. But
A lot
the
of
way that
fun
I
stuff.
see this, I understand why they're doing the fourth fight. The first fight was technically a draw.
Mhm.
The way that I see it, Figgy very clearly won the first fight without the point deduction to the nut shot. Clearly, that's a very obvious Figgy win. The second fight, Moreno wins. Clear win. Good for him. Third fight, I think, like, it sounded like that in the second fight, Figgy had issues with his weight, issues with his camp, issues with his cut. Then he moves over to fight ready with Cejudo and all of that. Third fight comes out, shows us what I think we all know he is capable of being. And basically, I mean, that fight wasn't that competitive. There were Moreno had moments, but yeah, Figgy kicked his fucking ass. So I personally think we already have the answer as to who is the better fighter of these two, who is going to be higher up in the all-time great list. I don't think that's up for debate, but I understand making the fight. I think Figgy should win. I think it'll look like third fight. I think Figgy should win pretty comfortably.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But I don't know. We shall see. It's a pick 'em right now.
What do you guys think?
Max Lovin.
What's that?
Max Lovin.
You got Moreno?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I
you
can't
got?
fault it.
Oh,
Weed.
I'm going. Heidi said, like, what is my brain telling me?
Weed.
No, no.
Okay.
Although I
But
would
no.
love to see Moreno win, to be honest.
Hell yeah. But it's a good card. There's like
What
fun
else?
fights sprinkled
What's
in.
the other? Is there?
Those are two title fights. We also have Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny. Gilbert's a
It's
huge
a good
favorite
fight.
there. It is a good fight, but I do think Gilbert wins that one pretty comfortably. I personally have Gilbert in the elite category at welterweight, and I have Magny in the good category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think there's just
Gilbert's
a significant space between those guys.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I like Gilbert Burns in this.
Yeah.
This is a good fight for Gilbert Burns.
Yeah,
Maybe set him
for
up
sure.
for a rematch with Kamzat.
Yeah.
I'm going with Neil Magny.
Johnny Walker and Paul Craig. Love me some Bear Jew. Always.
Craig.
I love Paul Craig. Paul Craig's jiu-jitsu is great, too.
That's another surprising price for me. Johnny Walker, a minus 175 favorite, coming off of being brutally knocked out by Jamal Hill, also fighting on this card for a title this weekend. But I don't know.
That was this knockout, right?
The the cartoon. But yeah, like I don't understand. Paul Craig is a plus 160 underdog there. I get that Johnny Walker's weaknesses have traditionally been strikers. He gets chinned. His chin hasn't really held up great, but Craig is just so dangerous in the jiu-jitsu that, like, even if Johnny Walker drops him and rocks him and chases him down into his guard, you're fucked.
Fucked. Yeah, guys,
you're fucked. Yeah.
Even hurt. Great triangle.
How many fights have we seen where Paul Craig is getting his ass fucking beat, and then bang, all it takes is a split second to make one mistake and he's got that triangle locked up.
Yeah, all the time. A couple, like 3 or 4 fights, I think.
Yeah.
Plus 160. You should be all over that, Harry.
I intend to be, and I'm very interested to see what the is it out? It might be Paul Craig by sub. Craig by submission plus 375? Are you kidding? That's insane. That's an insane line.
What would you put on that, Harry?
Easily 2 units. Easily.
200 or 2,000?
2 units.
It's a unit. It's whatever, in gambling speak, it's a unit is whatever your standard bet is, whatever John can afford, whatever Harry can afford. So we don't unit shame.
Your unit.
We don't unit shame. My unit.
The unit. We need the unit.
Yeah, my unit was $50. Now I'm unemployed, so it's less than that.
Now you're a eunuch.
Yeah. Now I'm a freelancer. Oh, your unit changes with your financial stability. Absolutely, it does.
The unit is smaller.
But I know guys
the size of your unit changes.
That's right. It's part of life.
Nothing
It's part of
wrong with
life.
that.
It's part of getting older.
You got to utilize the size of your unit no matter what.
But that's plus 375. You're getting almost 4-1 on a Paul Craig by submission there. Like that just feels crazy to me against the guy in Johnny Walker.
I kind of want to put $100 on him.
Right? And listen, Johnny Walker, like I know the problems have been with his chin and not with his grappling, but his fight IQ is also shit.
Johnny Walker sucks, bro.
He's not very good.
I personally think Johnny Walker sucks.
Listen, we're all old enough to remember Johnny Walker being touted as the guy to dethrone John Jones. We're all old enough to remember that. And then I'm sure some of you were there too at UFC 243, 244 at the Garden, the Masvidal Diaz fight, and Johnny Walker, Corey Anderson. Bink. Good night.
Yeah. Well, first he pulled his shoulder out celebrating.
Oh yeah, very funny.
And the gods of war don't like that. He did the worm after that knockout. The gods of war were like, bro, we did you a favor.
Forgot about that.
And now look at you.
But yeah, Johnny Walker is stuff. He's a guy who can gatekeep like the bottom of the 205 light heavyweight rankings, and that's about his ceiling, in my opinion.
Now he's got some Irish guys screaming at him.
Yeah, the only reason that his ceiling is that high is because 205 is a stinky ass division to begin with.
Especially now, the best guy left.
And Shogun,
you can say that, but he hasn't fought in 3 fucking years anyway, so whatever.
What's your guys' greatest memory of Shogun? I believe it's his last fight.
Oh man, Shogun retirement fight. It's sad. I don't want to see him go out sad. I really don't. It would really hurt me.
Who's he fighting?
You know what? When he blew his eye out.
Ihor Potieria.
That was my favorite.
Who that is.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with him. I know I've seen him fight before, but I'm not super familiar with him. Let me pull.
He couldn't pull Mark Coleman out for a fight.
Yeah. But, again, to your point, Manimal. Yes, let legends fight legends. Like they're feeding him some like young nobody who they probably signed off the fucking Contender Series. Like, oh my god, this is this guy's second fucking fight in the UFC. I don't like that. I don't care for that one bit.
You get nothing from beating that guy.
Right. Like, what does that do?
And
It was a legacy fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like how they've booked the end of Shogun's career at all. But I mean,
the end of anyone's career. UFC fucking totally sucks. The way
Absolutely.
they handled Frankie Edgar makes me sick to my stomach.
Yep.
They
Oh,
yep.
really
Chris
should.
Gutierrez, come on, man.
No, his whole end of his career, they really fucking. Thank God. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Max Holloway did the right thing as far as fighting Frankie Edgar late in his career. He's like, I'm not gonna throw a flying knee. I'll box him.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
he fought
Respectful.
him, but he
Respect.
wasn't trying to like kill him.
Right.
You know, that's respectful.
Right.
He
I had to
fucking-
watch one of my fucking childhood heroes get brutally knocked out 4 fights in a row. Like, come on,
Right.
They're
man.
learning that.
You could have
Oh.
gave him better matchups. Like, what the fuck, guys? And that's with a lot of different guys.
Mhm.
Him, I don't want to start naming names, but you know,
Fedor.
if you want to call it out, you can. But yeah, guys, BJ, fuck, I'll go with BJ Penn as a good
That was a
example.
brutal
too.
Yeah,
one.
that was
Oh,
pretty.
the Yair Rodriguez.
Mm.
Hey,
There
guys,
were some
you
bad- I
fucking
mean-
give the guy good matchups.
What is, it was the losing streak is, I think he still holds that record because Sam Alvey had a no contest in there. What was it, 8 BJ got to on that losing streak? It might have been
I think
9.
so, yeah.
It was 8 or 9, and he holds the
And
record.
if he wants to fight, I'm open.
I mean,
I'll
dude, then you
grapple
had like
with him.
then you had those videos of like BJ getting knocked out in a parking lot by like some
Oh,
random
yeah.
fucking schlub. Like that was sad. That hurt. That one
Terrible,
hurt.
But we'll
yeah,
be at
like,
the
I
OC
wish-
Smokers Club.
Yeah. We'll be
I
at the
wish-
Smokers Club.
I wish
And,
they would give Shogun somebody. Like I'm trying to think of like who even is like a notable 205 left on the roster. There really fucking aren't any. But you have to be able to do better than some fucking contender series guy. And his second fight in the UFC, Shogun as his
Where's
retirement
Forrest
fight.
Griffin?
Yeah, fuck it. Forrest is running the PI. Get him
Yeah,
to step
he's in
there.
shape. He's got to be in
He's got to
shape.
be in decent shape.
He'll fight Shogun. Let him fight Shogun.
He
That's a
would.
good
Fuck
fight.
it. Fuck
I
it.
like that. Throw Forrest
And-
in there.
Also, I just want to say I hope this is actually Shogun's retirement because what I
Yeah.
don't want to see is like the Bigfoot Silva Russian retirement tour. Because that talk about other shit that just hurts my heart to see. Promoters who keep booking Bigfoot should be fucking arrested. Those guys deserve the wall. I don't know what the fuck, like how they're. I mean, I know that it's in Russia and
That's
like
how what's his name died.
who?
Remember that heavyweight fighter? He had a few fights in the UFC. He had a good key lock.
Not Kevin Randleman.
No. This guy was a white dude, big guy. Fuck, man. See, this is the problem when you can't even remember the guy's name. He
Celia?
fuck. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Also, Tim Sylvia still owes me 25 push-ups for the record.
Tim Sylvia's still alive, isn't he?
Yes, he owes me 25 push-ups. He's alive and he owes me 25 push-ups.
Yes, and he owes me 25.
So he's not gonna forget about it.
Damn.
One day I'm gonna be sitting in law and Tim
Stop it.
Sylvia's gonna walk in and I'm gonna shit my pants.
And check
Tim Hague.
kick his ass.
Do you remember Tim Hague?
Name sounds very familiar.
He died in a boxing match
Oh.
couple years ago.
That shit is sad,
2017.
man.
This guy, he wound up having like he got knocked out like 3 times in the UFC. And then I think he wound up getting knocked out like a couple times in boxing. And yeah, he wound up dying in like a boxing match, right? And it's like sad, like you don't want that to happen.
No.
So yeah, I like a fair matchup. And I think when you just give what fans, this is what I think. Really what you want to see is a good, entertaining match.
Mhm.
Like you want a fair competitive matchup. And that's what's entertaining. So if you take 2 guys that are like in their prime and they fight, fair competitive matchup, even if one guy dusts the other one quick, which can happen even in any level of competition, right? You have 2 white belts fight, one could catch the other one in a minute, right? 2 white belts, equally unskilled. One could catch the other one right quick. So all skill being equal, normally what happens though among equally skilled levels is a good competitive matchup. And at any level, that's what you want to see. And I just think it's a travesty to the art of matchmaking to not set up good matches, especially for people that have been with the company for a long time.
Right, legends of the sport, guys who like. I mean, Shogun's Pride run. We might never see anything like that in combat sport ever again. Genuinely, But I just pulled up the Bigfoot Silva retirement tour just to take a look. I would like you guys to take guesses. How many consecutive fights do you think lost, and how many of them do you think were finishes?
Oh, you have his record in front of you?
I looked it up, yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying he lost 9 in a row. How many knockouts? 8?
Very close.
Yeah, I agree with John.
He's lost 10 consecutive fights, and he has been fished in 9 of them.
Oh, that's
Wow, I'm a good guesser, bro.
That was impressive. That was, and by the way, every finish is from strikes, not submitted once. So that is 9 times being knocked out just for no reason at all. No reason.
That's stupid.
Only three of those fights date back to the UFC. Everything else is just he's in Russia, he's in China, he's in BKFC, he's in Jesus Christ.
Weird ass fights.
Let that man rest. And I know, like, fuck his
It.
manager, fuck like everybody who's been involved in his career, because I'm sure the only reason he's still doing this because he has no money. But like, god damn, dude, Dana, sign
Wasn't
one
he
of
the
these
UFC champion at
deals.
one point?
I believe so. Yes.
I think he
Well,
was a
that's
UFC
what I'm saying.
champion.
Sign a guy with fucking legends deal. Have him show up at meet and greets and fucking sign autographs and take pictures with fans and shit. Pay the guy to not fight. Do what you did with Chuck, man. I like, again, like,
They even stopped the gravy train with Chuck. So if they stop it with Chuck, they could stop with anybody, which is crazy.
When they sold the
That's a good
company,
point.
they were like, "Chuck, you're out."
Yeah.
yeah. Chuck was in the Fertiz, not Ari Manuel.
Yeah.
I
The only
don't
guy that they
know.
were able to keep is Rogan.
I don't know how Iceman's gonna go over at Barnes and Nobles.
Ay vey. But
The
yes,
Ice Cat's gonna be in Barnes and Nobles.
it's
You
a
doing
dirty
it for
fucking
that
game. It's a dirty fucking game.
I had
Oh,
two.
who else
Damn.
we got on that card? Let's wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking through the only one that wants to jump out RoboCop and Bruno
Yes.
Pereira, which
Gil-
should be an awesome.
Gilton.
I love luxury. Yeah, Gilton Almeida, a minus 900 favorite over Shamil. I wish he'd move up to heavyweight. He would have been interested light heavyweight if he didn't decide he just didn't feel like cutting weight. But I wouldn't want to do that either. But people are high on that. But yeah, I mean, then you Terrence McKinney and Ismail series. That's a weird booking to me. It feels weird to kind of book McKinney backwards after the Dober fight. But I don't know. Whatever.
People
Go
are
back
high
and forth.
on Almeida. We will be high on other stuff.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Oh, yeah.
the OC Smokers Club. Thank you guys for putting this together. Very excited to do a broadcast. I think we'll do what John suggested last time, maybe last 3, maybe last 4 fights of the night.
That works.
But it will be a lot of fun, a lot of festivities.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Everyone's welcome. Come out to Ronkonkoma. It's well worth the trip. I know it's a little mission, but we'll be there. Lots of
The
weed.
address is correct on the flyer.
Address is correct on the flyer. I'll share that on my Instagram main feed tomorrow. MMAvengers. Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Disassemble.
I thought there was like a disassemble coming or something like that.
Oh, you ready to
like-
disassemble?
Pleasure as
MMAvengers?
always, pals.
MMAvengers, disassemble.